Hello everybody and welcome along to another brand new video where it's that time again. It's another Doctor Who Classic Season Blu-ray box set being announced, and this time it's Season 23. So yes, it's as we expected, the Trial of a Time Lord season, Season 23, Colin Baker's final season as the Doctor. 14 episodes following one full sort of story arc around this whole trial of the Doctor, being put on trial by the Time Lords for the crimes he's committed. And it's a season that I think is quite... not necessarily that generally popular. I think it came at a bad time for the show in a sense. It'd been the season after an 18-month hiatus, having after season 22, Colin's first season, the show was taken off the air for a year and a half, and then it came back with this, which at the time I don't think was particularly well received, and has kind of then continued on from that a bit in the sort of general fan opinion on it in the future. I must confess I haven't watched it for around 3 years or just over, but when I did watch it, and from what I vaguely remember of it, I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a lot better than people gave it criticism for. So yes, there were bits that maybe weren't amazing, and it was some places a bit padded out or a bit slow, but I did find the whole interconnected story idea very appealing. I've always loved a good story arc, as you guys know from New Who, the various series that's been heavily involved in, and so I think that it was interesting to explore at a much earlier time in the classic series. And I think ultimately it does have its merits and does in places work quite well. Of course, season 23 is made up of 4 kind of stories, split, obviously stuck together into the whole Trial of a Time Lord overall story, but you've got episodes 1 to 4, The Mysterious Planet, episodes 5 to 8, Mind Warp, episodes 9 to 12, The Terror of the Vervoids, and episodes 13 and 14 form The Ultimate Foe, the final 2 episodes that conclude the whole story arc. So it's very much quite an exciting, quite a big, quite an epic season to a degree. Yes, it has its failings, but I do think it's not a terrible season. And obviously, yes, we knew that this was the one that's going to be announced in a couple of weeks, but I'm not particularly disappointed about it. I mean, I wasn't quite sure what to expect in terms of looking at it from a point of view of special features and the VAM for it, because the DVD collection is really good. There's a lot of special features on there already, a lot of documentaries, commentaries, makings of, there's lots of stuff on there already, so I didn't really know what more they could do particularly to try and make this a really worthwhile, fully fleshed out box set. But oh, they really have. So yes, for a starter, there's extended versions of all 14 episodes, because of course back from this season and a lot of the latter seasons of Classic Who, there are several sort of deleted scenes, extended scenes that are still available from the original film trims that weren't, or videotape that wasn't used in the programme. And so it sounds like what they'll be doing is they'll be slotting those all back in where they were originally taken out. And so rather than 25 minutes, some of the episodes will probably be up to 30 minutes long, 30, maybe even 35 at times. I can't remember all the sort of specific bits of footage that was left over to be able to include it, but it's really great that they're going to just get those extended mixes, those sort of special edition mixes, as it were. It's something really exciting, I think, and just having that variety of ways to watch it, as well as with 5.1 soundtracks for every single episode as well, which is something that I think is very underrated with the Doctor Who Classic Season releases. It's kind of not something that's really thought about. It's sort of, oh, the audio, well, it's classic, it's old 1970s, 1980s audio, whatever. It's not going to be that great. It doesn't really matter. But actually, you listen to a story in headphones that's in 5.1 versus 2.0 mono. It's a massive difference. It completely immerses you in the show like it doesn't at all with mono in comparison. So I'm really excited to be able to watch with a 5.1 soundtrack for every single episode of this season. Hats off to Mark Ayres, who did all the audio restoration and remixing and everything for audio-wise on this release. It's mental. He's essentially mastered 32 different episodes, because of course the other big thing is a standalone version of Terror of the Vervoids, with also new special effects added to it as well, and a 5.1 soundtrack. So it sounds like that version will, because it's the one that kind of has the least amount of stuff to do with the trial in it, so it's the most obvious candidate to kind of turn into a completely standalone story, remove the various scenes that's got anything to do with the trial, but also bring in some of the other deleted scenes, and then you can combine it into one sort of 4-part serial that really just feels like its own standalone adventure, plus a load of new special effects and a 5.1 soundtrack. That sounds like a really intriguing and exciting prospect, so I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that and having a watch of that one as well. So yes, almost before we even get to the actual kind of special features, just the additional versions of the main episodes are going to be almost worth the retail price in that sense. There's so many different ways you can watch this season in terms of, as I say, extended versions and 5.1 soundtracks and new special effects, and just all the different things are going to make it such a great variety to be able to watch of this, what I think is quite a good season. Then in terms of the new special features that are on this box set, of course we've got the usual behind the sofa feature. We've also got another feature called the Writer's Room, a similar feature to what we saw in the season 18 box set in terms of the various writers who would have worked on the original season 23, which never happened because of the hiatus, A really, really intriguing season because pretty much everything was done. There were a whole load of scripts written, stories commissioned. It was all in progress, and then suddenly, boom, it all got dumped because it got put on hiatus. Nothing happened. That whole season was cancelled. Obviously, it was then reimagined in Big Finish in the last sort of 10 years or so. So it'll be really, really interesting to hear from the writers of the time who'd written some of these stories that were going to get included and how that all sort of fell apart, what some of those ideas were going to be, and also how it all fell apart. It's going to be really, really intriguing. So I'm really looking forward to that because there was only a sort of 10-minute or so documentary about it on the original box set. So that'll be included there as well, of course, but also having this proper, hopefully quite meaty writer's room feature with various writers should be really, really interesting to hear. Alongside that, we've also got a new Matthew Sweet interview with Bonnie Langford, who played Melanie Bush, of course, in the programme from Terror of the Vervoids onwards. She became the companion for Doctor Who, and then through a little bit of the Sebastian McCoy era as well. So that's something exciting and interesting to look forward to, because I feel like we don't always hear that much from Bonnie Langford about Doctor Who, so it'll be really nice to kind of have a proper sit-down interview with her, because the Matthew Sweet interviews just generally are fantastic. He's clearly a great interviewer and knows really how to get the sort of great answers and ask the right questions and get the great answers out of the various people he's interviewed, and so I'm really looking forward to hearing that one. Obviously, there's no Colin Baker one yet, but I'd imagine that'll be put on his first season. I know it's only a very small sample size, but based on the releases so far, both Tom Baker and Peter Davison's sit-down interviews were included on their first season rather than a later season. So yeah, it's not confirmed, but that might be the logic behind it. So when we eventually get a season 22 release, hopefully we'll get a proper Colin Baker sit-down interview as well. But yeah, this one will be one to really look forward to, I think. Alongside that, there's this Doctor Who cookbook thing, which I must admit I don't really know anything about because I wasn't obviously around at the time, and I've never really heard anything about this Doctor Who cookbook. But it sounds like there was some sort of Doctor Who cookbook written back in the 80s, and various old cast members are going to try and make recipes from this cookbook. So that'll be a bit bizarre, but hopefully quite interesting and a bit of fun, I think. And then, of course, all the previous special features that were included on the DVDs, of which there is a massive range. There's already a load of making documentaries, a load of archive footage, or sort of archive interviews and clips from different programmes, loads of documentaries already on there. So that this really is going to be an absolutely packed out story. Because I know a lot of people saw it as, it's only 14 episodes, it shouldn't be 4 discs. Why are they charging 38, 39, 40 quid for it like every other set? And I think if you didn't know about the special features, you could kind of be reasonably in that criticism, but having seen how much effort they've put in to make this box set absolutely spectacular and really just make it a proper worthwhile, as Colin Baker says in the trailer, 10 hours of special features. It is a proper sort of bonanza of extra stuff around Doctor Who, which is one of my favourite things about the programme. As much as I love the show itself and watching all the episodes of the classic series and new series and everything, I also love all the documentaries, special features, interviews, all those things around it I also find really, really interesting and are just as much a selling point for me as the episodes themselves. So I'm really, as I say, I'm really, really excited to see, well, now we know lots of the special features to come. It's going to be, I think, a really, really fantastic box set. So yes, it's season 23 coming out on the 23rd of September, as much as we know. Originally it was sent to be the 16th of September, but this and press release today said the 23rd, so only, that's nearly just over 3 months then to go until that release, which makes sense and tallies with what we've had so far in terms of it usually being about 3 months before the release of the box set that we got the announcement. It's just sort of happened that because the season 10 box set and the season 23 box set are much closer together than the previous gaps, that's why we've got this announcement before season 10 has been released. And of course the other news, hopefully, fingers crossed, is we're going to get season 26 before the end of the year. The strong rumours are season 26 will be released around December time. So maybe in early September, just before this box set comes out, probably expect a possible announcement of a season 26 box set, which will be another really good one to get excited about just in time for Christmas. But yes, guys, that's my quick thoughts on this and what we got from the press release and a bit of information. But do let me know down in the comments below, guys, what you think of this release. What do you think of the Trial of a Time Lord season? Is it actually a bit rubbish? Do you agree with a lot of fandom that it's a bit rubbish? Or can you see the benefits like I can, some of the positives of it, where actually it's got some real good points, there was some ambition in there, some good ideas, even if it didn't ultimately come out brilliantly. I'd love to see what you guys have to say down in the comments below. But other than that, remember to like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you again very soon for another one. Goodbye!